having final round. It went down. Post-fight breakdown. Oscar Valdez versus Shakur Stevenson. Let's get into it, man. I tried to tell people there's no emotion in this for me, but this fight was going to be a wash. Shakur Stevenson was going to wash Valdez. Okay, a lot of people accuse me of being a fanboy for Shakur Stevenson because I said that. A lot of people believed that I was on the hype train or I was hating on Valdez and not giving him enough credit. And it had nothing to do with that. It doesn't, I barely followed Shakur Stevenson through the Olympics. I don't think I followed him at all. I barely watched 2 full fights of his, with the exception of last night. You know, I watched the Jamel Herring Shakur Stevenson fight, and I wouldn't even watch that if people weren't saying that there was going to be an upset with Jamel Herring winning. You know, so I heard it was going to be a great fight, so I looked into it. I looked at the skills of both fighters, stylistic matchup, and I said, I don't see it. Shakur is going to beat this dude convincingly. A lot of people were saying Valdez was going to cause a lot of issues to Shakur Stevenson. I said, I don't see it. I looked at the film for Valdez. I looked at the film for Shakur. I said, stylistically, this favors Shakur. Shakur's an A-level fighter, and Valdez may be a B. Maybe. Last night, he looked like a C. I said, don't be surprised if Shakur walks him down at certain points in the fight. I said, don't be surprised if you're shocked at how much power Shakur has in terms of being respectable, that Valdez isn't just going to walk through him. Which Valdez didn't. He couldn't. He respected Shakur Stevenson's power. I said, don't be surprised if he puts Valdez on the back foot. You know, I had Shakur winning by TKO. He didn't quite get the TKO, but he did get a flash knockdown. You know, he did hurt Valdez to the body multiple times. I said, don't be shocked if the better body puncher is Shakur Stevenson. I said, don't be shocked if he hangs in the pocket with Valdez. I said, don't be shocked if you don't see Valdez putting pressure on all night, because he's not a pressure fighter. He's not. That's not what he does. He's not a pure pressure fighter. So why do people even think this is going to be a close fight? Because in order for Valdez to beat a guy like Shakur Stevenson with his attributes, you better be a damn good pressure fighter. But that's not how Valdez fights. He's more of a boxer in his fights. But there's levels to this. His boxing abilities are nowhere on the level of Shakur Stevenson in the physical and athletic talent. Nowhere on near the level of Shakur Stevenson. You know, but Valdez likes to box off the back foot sometimes. How you think he got that knockout against Burchell? He was backing up and he countered him. But unfortunately, that style wasn't going to help him in this fight. You're going to try to box with Shakur Stevenson? I don't think so. And even if you do try to put pressure, that's not what you do. It's not what you do, bro. You're not going to be effective at putting pressure all of a sudden for this fight. Unless that's what you've been doing your whole career. You know, he's not going to start cutting off the ring, sticking his jab, a stiff jab in Shakur's face all night, going down to the body consistently, breaking Shakur down each round. That's not what he does. So that's why I was so confused why people were convinced this was going to be a close fight. You know, you had people saying they weren't picking Shakur because his chin has never been tested. Yeah, because he has good defense. He has good defense. There's a reason why he ain't fighting 12 rounds with a broken jaw. And you're going to pick the guy who constantly takes beatings and punishments in fights over the guy who can't be touched. And even if he is, he knows how to roll with those punches or water them down. Shakur Stevenson, you know, controls distance masterfully. You know, and that's a huge advantage in a fight. You know, I get it, people. We value power. We value that Rocky mentality, the toughness, the grit, the determination. You know, Valdez, You know, a lot of people were saying he had an impressive resume, which I didn't think was that much more impressive than Shakur's, but, you know, nonetheless, people thought he had a better resume, more experience. He was more tested because he fought with a broken jaw, and he's, you know, fought back when he was down on the scorecards. That's all great, you guys. But if you don't back that with supreme skill, you know, there's levels to this game. And when you start running into dudes like Shakur Stevenson, superior boxers with superior skills, all that toughness, that grit, determination, you know, power, all that ain't gonna do nothing for you if you can't back it with the skill set. You know, you can have a nuclear weapon in your arsenal, but if you don't have some sort of delivery method for that nuclear weapon, it ain't going nowhere. In all of Oscar Valdez's intangibles were held at bay because he did not have the skill set to deliver those things, to make those things actual factors in the fight. There had to be a way for Valdez to drag Shakur Stevenson to that place to where he could dog him out, and he didn't have that skill set. And I didn't see that. This has nothing to do with me fanboying or me, you know, hating on Valdez. It's just what I saw. My question is, maybe you're the fanboy. Maybe, you know, you're the emotional one. Maybe you're the hater. Because if you could not see that Shakur Stevenson was the superior boxer in this fight, you weren't being objective. Or you just don't understand boxing. And I feel the same way for hopefully the upcoming matchup. Hopefully this fight gets signed. You know, EJ versus Bud. I'm sorry. I'm not saying Bud is going to watch EJ, but I think he will knock him out. TKO him, something. I think Bud is going to win that fight. And I think a lot of people are going to be shocked at the skill discrepancy compared between the two. Doesn't mean Errol Spence ain't a great fighter. But I think unless Bud gets significantly old, skill-wise, he's superior to Errol Spence. There's way more dimensions and layers to what Bud's doing. And I think that will overcome the size disadvantage that Bud has in that fight and a lot of other things. But, you know, skills over will. Skills pay the bills. Okay? And, you know, I know Shakur Stevenson can take a punch. You know, I already know that. I don't need to see him get lit up to understand that. And if anything, it's good that he's not taking that punishment because it's gonna improve his longevity in the sport. Your chin doesn't get better the more it gets hit. Okay? The more you're getting popped on that chin, the weaker it becomes. Okay? It doesn't get better. It doesn't get better the more you take that punishment. But the more you don't get hit, you know, the more you protect it, like Shakur Stevenson, it's going to last longer. You're going to hold out longer. So I just never got that vibe that was going to be an issue with Shakur Stevenson. And I wasn't going to pick Oscar Valdez solely based on his resumes. And I'm trying to tell you guys this. Resumes are nice, dude. I'm not saying I don't look at resumes. I'm not saying I don't look at experience. There's a place for that. But there's an order for me. Resumes don't always win fights. This is why I can safely say Boots Ennis is going to be a great fighter. He's going to be the next up-and-coming great fighter because I don't need the resume. The resume will come. I see the skills, I see the talent, I see the right mindset, you know, and I see the way he's performing in his fights with his competitors, and I can see it. I don't need the resume to say that he's going to be a great fighter because I see the skill set. Look at the skill set first, you guys. The resume will fall into place. Resumes don't always win fights. A lot of people thought Oscar Valdez had a significantly better resume than Shakur Stevenson. And it didn't matter. If that's what you truly believe, guess what? It didn't matter. The experience of Valdez, the wars he's been through, it didn't matter. Because at the end of the day, skills pay the bills. So tell me what you guys think. Like the video, subscribe, comment down below. What did you think about the fight? How did you think Shakur looked? You know, where do both of these guys go from here? Who would you like to see Shakur face next? It's your boy Havoc. Final round. Get at me.